What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Raw Real Podcast. We are your hosts. With me, as always, is Coach Tony T. And of course, I am Shane the Pain.
Nobody calls you that, then that's it.
You just
That's
can't let
it.
it go, man.
I can't.
You just can't let it go.
It's not a good nickname.
Well, guys,
Go ahead.
this week we're going to dive into a couple of topics that we've been seeing over social media lately. And first topic is The Sound of Freedom. Tony, I don't know if you've seen this movie, but it's about sex trafficking and child sex trafficking, and quite a devastating story by no stretch of the imagination. But what's funny about this is that no major studios wanted to pick this movie up. And I mean, Netflix and Amazon, they all turned it down. They said it's not for us, you know. Believe it or not, this movie was created about 4 years ago. So they've been trying for 4 years to get this movie into theaters. Luckily, there was only one production studio called Angel Productions. They picked this movie up and they decided to release it, and it's across select theaters across the country. And it really brings to light that, you know, there's about 76,000 children per day that are being trafficked globally. And then another statistic that freaks me out is that 22 million new child pornography videos and pictures have been uploaded this year. That's a 5,000% increase in content. And what scares me is that there are more children and people in slavery today than there were when slavery was legal, you know? And my question, Tony, to you is like, don't you think major studios would want to get on board with spreading the message that this is happening and raising awareness?
And that is the biggest question mark of all, right? Because somebody does a movie about child trafficking, which is something that, for all intents and purposes, it seems to be real, right? Like, I don't want it to be real. Let's just put it out there. Like, we don't want it to be real. But apparently it's something that's real. And for some reason, I do not understand, is that they are politicizing this.
Yeah.
And there's some people that are against the movie because there's an agenda to it. It's conspiracy theory. Meanwhile, if I'm not mistaken, look, and I didn't watch the movie, I just read a lot about it. It's this guy, Tim Ballard, who is apparently from Homeland Security.
He was a Homeland Security agent.
So
yeah.
now, are we going to say that this guy is spreading misinformation as well? So what are we doing here?
I
You're
don't
admitting
know.
there's child sex trafficking and all that. So why is somebody, even let's say if the movie is not fully true, okay, the movie is not fully the real thing, maybe they embellished or whatever. Why would somehow it's the left wing media? I don't want to say it like that, but why are media outlets, some of them, saying that this is a crazy conspiracy theory type of movie?
Well, that's what scares me, because if you're not speaking up against it, it means you're for it, or you're at least compliant to it, or you're complacent with it. And what bothers me the most is that, you know, people are waking up to this reality and they're not reacting to it. And I think this has a lot to do with the movies that you see in Hollywood. They normalize this stuff and they desensitize it so that when the truth comes out, you're not having that physical or psychological reaction to that information. But I do want to praise certain states. Like, I'm going to mention Florida, for example. They just brought back the death penalty for anybody who's targeting a minor sexually, right? I am all for that. I don't think that these individuals should have the liberty and freedoms that, you know, us good citizens have, especially if you're targeting the children. And one of the things, or one of the lines from the movie was, none of God's children are for sale, right? And I love that quote, because they should be the untouchables within our society. We should be protecting them. We should be all coming together, right? It doesn't matter what side of the street you live on. We can all agree that child sex trafficking is a bad thing, right, ladies and gentlemen? We can agree on that, right?
100%.
Okay, so then why is the left-wing media portraying this as right-wing extremism? Why is it portraying the people who are now starting to feel passionate about this topic as, you know, hero dads with brainworms? Like, why is the left-wing media targeting this and politicizing it?
And especially they're calling that dad a hero. But guys, he is a Homeland Security agent.
And not
They
only
used to
that,
catch predators.
he was 1 month away from his pension and he gave up his pension. All right. And he quit his job and he went abroad to go and save. I mean, you guys got to watch this movie. It is fantastic. I'm not going to tell you anything more about it. But what I will say is this is happening all around the world, guys. And if you want to help raise awareness and help stop sex trafficking of children and young women, there is a group by the name of King Sounds and Friends, and they're hosting a music flash mob in the GTA. That's the Greater Toronto area, ladies and gentlemen, to bring awareness and to put a stop to sex trafficking of young women and children. And so if you would like to share your voice, if you're an artist out there who can sing, and if you'd like to participate in this event, you could go to www.unitedmusiccanada.ca/flash mob. And you can register for the next event to participate in the flash mob itself. And if you would like to find out more information about the services that Kings and Sound offer, you can go to their website directly at www.king.sound, that's ZOUND.ca. It just really pisses me off, Tony, that there are people in society who are sitting there not doing anything about it, not raising their voice. Listen, we're a small podcast, folks. We're not big by any stretch of the imagination, but one thing we will do is we will speak up against the things that we believe are evil, and it totally pisses me off that people aren't jumping on board and aren't reacting.
It is insane to me what's happening with society, that we are saying this type of movie to bring awareness to something that is extremely serious. You know, people lose their children, right? These children are stolen from their parents, their mothers, or whichever it may be, and this is happening to them. And then the stories that we hear of schools and the more really loose liberal way they are bringing teachings. Let's just not.
They're trying to
that.
dumb us down and numb us out.
And I don't know what's this. It's like it's an attack on kids. I don't know what it is, but this needs to stop. We need to go back to a bit of the old ways. Maybe not. I'm not talking about let's smack our kids with sticks and all that stuff.
Right.
But let's teach our kids
stronger morals,
languages, arithmetics, budgeting, stuff like that. Let's teach them school things, right? The regular stuff that you need in everyday life. And of course, back to this sex trafficking thing, which it's really hard for me to put it into words. Like you're talking about child pornography. This is disgusting to me.
And we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it later on. But for sure,
fact that there's this thing on the media that's saying, "Oh, this is a hero brainworm," whatever it is. It's like at least say that. Oh, it's a great thought. The story, although is not based on a true story. The act of this sex trafficking situation is disgusting.
Exactly.
At least acknowledge that, but they're not acknowledging that. It is so weird to me how we are at this point, at this juncture, in this world.
You know what I find?
I'm baffled by it. I have no words.
What's crazy, Tony, is that I find that, okay, maybe the right wing is pushing this narrative, but it's a narrative that everybody should be on board. It's not something where, no, we need to draw a line in the sand for this. We need to get all together in a room and fix this problem together. Anyway, moving on to a much lighter topic about what peeves me off. Tony, have you ever been to the office at work? All right. And at lunchtime, somebody just pops in some smelly Tupperware food leftovers from the previous evening. And then it just stinks up the entire office.
Oh, the best is when they put the fish in.
The fish.
Listen, man. Put whatever you want. Look, I'm a guy that, that Armenian sausage sujuk.
Yes.
But people actually love that smell. But really, technically, I shouldn't be heating that up in there.
Right.
But
it's pungent.
The garlic smell is different. The people love the Middle Eastern or Indian foods. You smell like, ooh, somebody's having curry today.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, somebody's having butter chicken. Ooh, somebody's having shawarma. It's all good. But once the fish goes in, that's my only pet peeve. Do not put the fish in.
The fish is terrible, man. Don't bring fish.
Bring tuna, put it in the fridge, eat it cold sandwich. Do not heat it up.
That's perfect.
This is it.
Don't do the fish.
Exactly. Please don't do the fish.
I find it's disgusting. But I get it, man. Listen, there are some cultures where that's all they feed off of. They feed off of fish. And then they don't want to go to the grocery store and purchase that frozen fish stick. It's not real fish, or it's just an amalgamation of fish product, or put together.
They need that mercury.
They need that mercury.
They need that mercury.
But I think guys, just stop doing it, please. You know, we don't enjoy it, and especially if you're in a corner office, all windows, and the sun hits you in the afternoon, and it just warms up that office. It just allows the stench to travel all the way across the office. I don't like it. You know what else pisses me off though, or what else peeves me off? Tony, you and I, we've had conversations about traveling, air traveling, right? And the last time we talked about this, it was like, you know, grooming yourself on a plane or whatever the case may be. But this time, I think seat reclining. All right, there needs to be some sort of like etiquette that goes into this, because I'm a tall guy. All right, and when I get into a plane, when I sit on my seat, like my knees are literally touching the back of the bench. And then when it comes time for this pretty little girl to come and sit down in the seat in front of me, and she decides to recline that thing all the way back, yeah, man, it makes it really uncomfortable and it peeves me off. But what do you think, Tony?
Hey, look, that's a you problem, okay? All you have to do is not bend your knees, put them straight. You can stretch your leg under the seat. You can recline back. I don't feel bad for you. He's tall as though
I think that's domestic
he
flight
thinks
talk.
he's 6'5" here. The guy is like 5'11".
That's domestic flight talk. You're talking about like from here down south. I'm talking about international flights where you're on that flight for more than 10 hours. All right, you gotta move. I'm an antsy in the pantsy type of guy, right? I gotta move. I don't like sitting in one place, but I'm not against reclining. I'm just saying, don't recline it all the way. I think halfway is responsible.
Don't flip-flop now, man. Don't flip-flop. You're against reclining. All you got to do, Shane, is stretch your legs under the seat. You don't have that problem. Why are you going to
Because we've got carry-on underneath.
Well, again, that's
you know
your problem.
What?
If
that's
you,
a me
you got,
problem.
That's why you got space at the top to put your carry-on. If you have something that you're putting under your legs, it's too much.
I guess it's situational.
It's too much, yeah.
I guess it's situational.
No, it's not.
But since we're going back and forth on this, I got another something that me and you can go back and forth on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the great debate. All right. And I purposely didn't tell Tony what this subject was going to be today because I wanted you to see his true, genuine reaction. All right. So on the great debate, the topic is, which is the better entertainment sport, UFC or WWE?
Ooh. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And here's what I'm going to start off by saying. If you're going to say WWE, all right, people who like WWE, it's like grown-up adults still believing in Santa Claus. That's what it's like to me.
Look, of course, UFC is it's not sports entertainment. UFC is a sport.
Correct.
Okay? So that's where the debate ends, because sports entertainment, WWE, that's a show, man. That's a show, but those guys are athletes, eh? One thing, though, I will say about UFC that I dislike this weekend is that I don't like it when they sleep on top and that's how they gain their points. They don't do much. I put you down. I lay on you for like 2 minutes and then get up. I get punched for 2 minutes and then I put the other guy down again. The guy who punched my face for 2 minutes and I'm all messed up, but I win the round because I put you down.
But how do you not see that as a strategy?
I'm hugging you. Because you're not doing nothing. It's about damage.
How do you say you're not doing anything? He's literally taking out his stamina.
But what kind of damage is he doing to his, like, they're not hitting Tony. Him. He's hugging him. He's rubbing his face on his crotch. That's my problem. At least, wrestling, it's always
You're starting to piss me off, man.
Listen, UFC with this whole takedown ground, like, it's BS, okay?
You know what?
Nurmagomedov is the most boring fighter. The only reason he got popular because Conor McGregor came. Before that, Khabib Nurmagomedov was really he was a good fighter. Like, I have respect for him. I respect the grind.
He's a real real wrestler.
But at least him, he would, punch a bit more. But it's still boring. Oh, takedown. Oh, it's just boring. At least WWE. Did you see Ricochet? This guy ran to the ring.
Who the hell calls themselves Ricochet?
But if he jumps over, does a flip, lands on the floor right in front of Logan Paul. I see that. I'm like, man, this guy's an athlete. This guy's an athlete. Dude, you just didn't see it. Like,
I didn't. But here's what I'm going to say.
Either way, UFC is the better overall. Obviously, is the better. It's a sport. It's a sport, but it's not sports entertainment, right? Sports entertainment is WWE. It's its own lane. WWE, they've lasted so long and they're still so popular and that's the thing. You're saying adults watching it, but it's because it's a show. They're watching it because when you're a kid, you're watching this thing, right?
Yes, like I get it.
And
I
then at a
watched it.
point, you lose because you feel like you're an adult, then you lose a bit of it. And then you realize, man, these guys are athletes. And it's the stories.
Yeah.
You know, like I remember New Day, when New Day was popular, they were bad guys and then they came up. I'm like, oh, wow, this is interesting. They got me back into wrestling, you know? And
Yeah.
it was hilarious. My wife used to like to watch their intro 30-minute thing. They're just talking.
Jesus. Yeah, but
They're
that's the
joking
thing,
around.
man.
It's you know, it's entertainment. Look at John Cena, The Rock, The Miz, these guys making it in the entertainment business. That's sports entertainment. UFC, it's a sport.
So-
UFC is a different animal.
If I don't cut you off here, Tony, you're just going to keep on going for hours.
I will
but
go forever.
here's what I'm going to tell you. I think that UFC is the better outcome sport. All right.
of course.
It's the better outcome sport in the sense that, you know, there's going to be a true winner at the end of the battle. It wasn't something that was like forecasted or scripted. Now, I'm not taking away from the performers in WWE because they are absolutely athletic performers. These guys are stuntmen, all right? The things that they do, the torture that they submit their bodies to, it is 100% real, all right? But what I don't like is that a guy can put out 150% of his body, walk out of there with a broken bone and still not win, right? I mean, we talk about the Bret Hart-Shawn Michaels fight in Montreal in 1993. I think it was 93.
I think it was.
All right. We all love Brett, right? But what did Vince and Sean do? They colluded. They got together and they said, this is how we're going to take him out. He can't leave Montreal with that belt, right? I don't like that, right? That could never happen. Now, don't get me wrong. Situations in the UFC happen where the refs get it wrong. Even Dana White's like, that's effing bullshit. All right. That the fight should not have gone that way. So I agree. Sometimes the outcome could be questionable, but it's a true outcome in the sense that both fighters went in there, duked it out, and the true winner prevailed, right? But WWE, I don't know. I just can't get into it anymore. It's the in-betweenness, right? And that's another thing with UFC. There's too much time in between the fight. Boom, I want the other fighters ready as soon as the other guys are out of the cage. That way you can have more fights. But it's a build-up thing. It's a production. I get it.
But you know what's fun about UFC? Between those fights, what's good about it is you can chill with your boys and talk. And then if you're watching with your friends and everybody, you know, you can chill, talk, drink a bit, and then the next fight will come. Okay, let's go to the fight. You know, so you're not always staring at the TV.
But
That's the
true.
beauty.
That's
about
true.
it.
I like
That's
that
the
because
beauty.
we've had parties before, right?
Yeah.
And we can do that. We would play beer pong in between a fight and then in between rounds and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. All right, guys, moving on to the next topic is conspiracy talk. All right, Tony. And this one, we had a little talk about it before we got into the studio today. But guys, last week, Bob Ross, serial killer vibes, right? That was the conspiracy from last week. This week, ladies and gentlemen, Garth Brooks is a serial killer. So apparently, Tony, Tom Segura has been talking about this, all right, and he actually got banned on Twitter or social media from Garth Brooks, who's banned from his account. But apparently, Tom Segura has a source, and for those who don't know, he's a comedian, and he's got a very close source to Garth Brooks. And there's this conspiracy that wherever Garth Brooks toured, all right, in the same timeline, same city, girls just suspiciously go missing, right? And so Tom decided to talk about this, you know, publicly, but he won't reveal his source, obviously. And so he comes out with it, and all of a sudden Garth Brooks goes ahead and starts blocking him all over the place. So does that make him look innocent? Does that make him look guilty? What do you think, man? Do you think it's true? Do you think it holds weight?
Honestly, if you know somebody's accusing me of something that I didn't do, it's like, man, it's annoying, right?
Right.
But it can be both ways. And I think what Tom Segura is going with is that every time Garth Brooks tour stops at a certain location, this location has a missing person involved.
Right.
Right. That's the
That's
conspiracy,
the
right?
conspiracy.
And apparently
Those are the allegations, right?
those are the allegations. Allegedly,
Yeah.
we shouldn't. Yeah, allegations. So Tom Segura knows somebody within Garth Brooks's camp.
Circle, yeah,
So-
exactly.
So, therefore, he has some information we don't. Maybe he knows something. Look, man, we just talked about a child sex trafficking movie
Yep.
that people are trying to claim as, rubbish.
Yeah, or
if you may.
disinformation,
Or
misinformation.
disinformation,
right?
misinformation, whatever you want to call it. So, look, man, we've always said it. We know what we don't know.
We don't know
and-
what we don't know, right?
We know what we don't know. We don't know what we know.
But I
we
mean,
don't know what we don't know. Whatever
is
it
this a
is.
situation
it's
where 1 + 1 = 2? Are we connecting the dots here? Like, if he toured 50 different cities, all right, and a girl went missing that very night in each and every one of those cities, I mean, you as an investigator, if you were an investigator by trade, would you not say that's a bit suspicious? And coincidental? I mean, as an investigator, there's no coincidences, right?
The person who got rid of the body probably paid cash for the acid that he got to cut the body up and put it in the acid.
So you're saying
And
it is
the body says,
possible.
"Oh, it's of course.
you're saying it's
that's what I'm
possible.
telling you. We don't know what we don't know, and it is possible that Garth Brooks paid somebody to get rid of a body. It's very possible. Come on, man.
I think there's a lot of elites
You
that are
haven't
doing
seen
that.
Breaking Bad? Come on,
Come on, of course. Absolutely. But I
get
mean,
a tub, get acid.
but I
cut
mean,
him
when
up.
we look at his career and we look at what media has shown us about Garth Brooks, I mean, it looks like a guy who couldn't harm, a fly, right? And these songs that he's coming up with, he's country music's, I don't know what they coin him, but
But what do you want him to sing, Shane? Sorry to got you, but what do you want him to sing? I killed this little girl in the back of the road, in the back of my truck. Put her nasty up there, getting rid of the body. Well, what do you want him to sing?
Well, Tony-
of course, he's got some kind of persona.
you know that song,
Things
Sweet
happen.
Caroline? Sweet
Yeah.
Apparently, all right, that song, all right, is
Wow.
about the singer and his affection towards John F. Kennedy's daughter, Caroline.
Ooh.
All right. And if you listen to the words, touching you, touching me, they're literally coming out with it. And that's one thing about this devil worshiping stuff is that to get into like what I've heard, to get into this type of a cult, you literally have to put it out there for everybody to see. Like you have to showcase what they're doing. And we're so dumb that we see this stuff and we don't react to it. We don't say anything about it. I mean, look at Sam Smith going to these
Yeah.
dressing up as, I mean, how many times have you seen people going to these galas looking like complete assholes? Like,
Oh.
what the hell are you doing? Maybe this is their initiation into the satanic cult. Who knows?
Hey. There's always signs out there, like we're talking about the movie,
Yeah.
Sound of Freedom, Adrenochrome, right? Part of it.
Yes.
And you saw the
Yes.
Disney stuff, the
Yes.
A113.
Yes.
That's pretty insane.
I was going to
man.
bring that up, man. I mean, if I was to tell you guys that there are people out there who are drinking the blood of babies, all right, you would probably look at us and go, no, cancel these guys. Like, I'm never watching them again, right? But then wait, because I think what Mel Gibson's doing, he's coming out with a 4-part documentary to expose child pornography and sex trafficking in Hollywood. So I can't wait for that to come out, folks. That is going to be interesting. And all those people who called us crazy or conspiracy theorists, get your apology letters
Well,
out.
look, we won't say his name, but we know a guy that worked in
We know
LA.
a guy.
We know a guy that worked in LA, and a lot of people, the big execs in California, apparently they love the thought of immortality.
Yes.
And one adrenochrome apparently
Dude.
brings a rush, and it apparently comes from what tortured babies, from what I've read, from what I've
Yes,
done research.
because it
like-
produces the adrenaline in the blood, and that I don't know what it is,
So
but
now, guys, just to quickly, now that's called adrenochrome, and the code for adrenochrome apparently is A-113, A-113.
right.
And apparently in Disney movies,
It's
these
written
things
everywhere.
pop up everywhere. So it's kind of weird in the children's movies, and but look, it can be just all a big coincidence.
Well,
but,
Tony,
let's
have
be
you seen Mel Gibson recently?
oof,
Have you
yeah,
seen his face?
Yeah.
Looks old, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you seen John Travolta?
John Travolta, yeah, I've seen him.
Pretty
I've seen-
clean, man.
yeah, yeah.
Pretty, how about Denzel Washington? Looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they say black don't crack, so that's,
Okay,
maybe
black-
that's because
maybe they say that. Okay. But if we go back to what I'm just saying, these people compared to what Mel Gibson looks like, all right, he looks like a tire that's been driven through the desert, all right, and then these guys who are like the same age, not a crack. I mean, something's going on, man.
Yeah.
All right. And then on top of that, all these pharmaceutical companies or these beautician companies that are making makeup and stuff, they're using all these types of products that come from like human fetuses. It's really, really
that
weird
I've
stuff.
heard about Jennifer Aniston's products, right? Like
Yeah.
there's something. Look, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility because they love they want to be immortal. That's what they look for. Apparently, these big execs
Yeah.
from the guy we're talking about, and I think that's one of the reasons he came back. But yeah, man, look, this
gotta
is
put- we
wild
gotta
stuff.
put a stop
this
to
is
it,
wild
Tony.
stuff, but it's so crazy that they know that people will think that's too crazy
Yeah.
to think about. So they're like, oh, let
They're
them
brushing
talk
it
about
off. But you
Let
know
them
what?
Talk about it.
Let's hold them accountable. Let's get together. Let's get as many people together to raise awareness on this. Ladies and gentlemen, please, if you like this message, like and share with your friends and family and all over social media. We got to get the word out there, and we got to get all these people exposed. That's our time for this evening.
Want to talk about the studio quick, and
Well, guys,
thank.
we want to give a big thank you here to Charles. All right. We are testing out this studio for the very first time, and we would like to acquire Charles's services in the future. So if you like what you see, and you would like to sponsor us for any future episodes, please email us at rawrealpodcast@gmail.com for more details. And I do want to plug the name of the studio here. So if you just give me a quick second.
Unless Charles, you can get on the mic, or is their mic not working?
It is Speak Up Studio. Charles, please plug yourself.
Yeah, maybe.
Hello.
Yes, we hear you,
We hear
Charles.
you, Charles.
Nice.
So, Charles, tell us where you're from, what you do, and what you're going to offer to the podcast community in the greater Montreal area.
Thank you for letting me take an opportunity to speak up on your show.
Yeah, it's our pleasure.
Yeah, so I'm Charles, born in Montreal, and my idea here is to create powerful content creator, podcasters around the Montreal Laval area. So let's get it.
Let's get it, guys.
Let's
So
go.
if you're in the market, or if you're interested in becoming a podcaster and you're looking for some professional quality content creation, Charles has got all the equipment. He's made a significant investment here with all the quality and audio equipment, and you can rent out this space, and it is quite affordable, guys. So I urge you to seek them out on social media. Once again, it is Speak Up Studio. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was our episode for today. Tony, this was a great one. Always love your feedback. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
How are we going to end it, man?
Blue Tacoma, California, wild magnolia in your hair, feeling gonna shining on you. Ooh, if heaven is anywhere, it's right here.
It's right here.